Good morning. Let me welcome all of you to First Talk Live. I'm Pastor J. It is great to have you all tuning in today. I appreciate the time that you allow me to come and speak into your life, and I really am honored and blessed that you would choose to share this time with me, whether it's in the morning or it's the afternoon or the evening or it's another day entirely altogether. But whenever you choose to come and to tune into this message, we are delighted, we are honored, and we are humbled that you would do so. We this morning want to bring a message to you titled, "What Does It Mean to Number Your Days?" In Psalm 90:12, it says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may present to you a heart of wisdom." Teach us to number our days so that we may present to you a heart of wisdom. So what does this mean? This has always been one of those kind of mysterious verses for me anyway. And in a day like today, where the energy and the emphasis, the devotion of time and resource is given to avoiding or delaying death, we tend to maybe not understand the wisdom of the life and how to live the life we have. See, today with the fear that just runs rampant, people have devoted their existence to try and avoid death. In so doing, they have forgotten how to live life. This is a tragic way to live because it's not living at all. And when you are devoted every moment of your day to trying to preserve your life, you are in fact losing your life. And so there's a wisdom to knowing how to give an account for every day lived. And what the psalmist, and I believe in part, is trying to convey by just the Holy Spirit, and as he is using King David, to write and pen this truth, is we must learn how to value each day accordingly, so that we live that day. We live it with the purpose God intended for us to live it with. Living it with the purpose that God has intended for us to live it means that we don't fear the things that the world and life itself would want us to fear, trying to hold us captive, trying to use and steal from us the resource we have, the time we have, the influence we have, the sophistication, the minds that we have to try and keep something at bay, or to protect and preserve ourselves in such a way that we forget those that are around us, that God has given us those same resources to help in a time of need, to support in a moment of needed support, to love the way he's called us to love. We have to be very careful that we understand the value of each day, and that we understand that day is a precious moment, one that we've got to consider to be, it may be, in fact, the last. So do we live it recklessly for our own pleasure, or do we live it in such a way that when we stand before him, we have no need to be ashamed of the way we have conducted our life, but we can stand with the confidence of knowing my life was lived for him. It was lived purposefully. It was lived deliberately, not recklessly, not haphazardly, not trying to preserve or protect and control what I cannot control, and what I've not been given the capacity to even preserve and protect. See, we have to be careful, because if we fail to recognize the purpose that we have been given to live, And that purpose, let me just remind you of what that purpose is. It was really quite, it was summed up in a quite elegant way when Jesus was asked the question, what is the greatest command? And he said, the greatest command in the whole law and the prophets is summed up in this command. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And this is understanding that the whole purpose you and I even exist to begin with, the very thing that God has set us in motion and with life to do is relationship, first with Him. That relationship with Him is priority. If we never come to really knowing that relationship, serving in that relationship, connecting in that relationship, growing in that relationship, we have really never served the purpose for our being created. And the second, he said, was like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. Again, relationship. And when we are so busy trying to preserve and protect ourselves that we're just trying to delay or prolong things that we think we can somehow and so arrogantly control, then we cannot be in relationship. And here's why. Because anyone that is close to us will eventually become a threat to us. And anyone that becomes a threat, and anything that becomes a threat to us, becomes the target of our attack, not our love. This is something we see unfolding before our very eyes, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. And it's not just a localized thing, it's a global thing. Maybe this is why Jesus said in Luke, concerning the days that we're living in, that the love of man will grow cold because sin has increased. Well, we go back to Psalm 90, verse 12. Teach us to number our days. Teach us to recognize the value each day possesses, to live it purposefully, so that we may present to you a wise heart. A person who understands the value of each day and the purpose given for each day will always be one who lives looking with the awareness of the opportunities that God is presenting. A person who does not learn this, does not learn how to value each day and to recognize each day for the purposes God has ordained, will never see the opportunities, will always look past the opportunities because they're too focused on themselves. And so my challenge to you today is, if you're living trying to delay what you can't delay, I want to just say, and for those of us who are believers, and this is a very, very, very difficult conversation, I understand. But it's a necessary one because it's just part of who we are and it's life. Death is an intricate, necessary part. We never like to consider the time that may come and will come where we are no longer a part of this experience on this side of eternity. But the reality of it is that we have all been given the appointment with death. And for those of us who believe, that is not the end of anything. It's really just the introduction now to the whole new experience of eternal life with Jesus. And those that have gone before us And so when we consider this reality and we are trying to avoid it, delay it, because we want to remain on this side of the experience, well, we have misplaced our time, our attention, our resources. And because we have misplaced them, we have misused them. And when we misuse them, they can no longer serve the purpose God entrusted them to us. In this day and age, where many, it's the fear of, it's the fear reaction, fight or flight, that we see happening across the globe. I've chosen just to live. I've chosen to live my life purposefully, to engage the lives around me that God has put me and connected me with. I trust that you will do the same. Because as believers, when that time is meant for us to be with Him, it will happen. It doesn't matter what happens to put us there. When that time comes, we're there. And there's 2 appointments no human being will ever be late for, because they're ordained by God. The day we were born and the day that we go home. So, even if you're late to every other party and every other event, those will be 2 you will not be late for. And there's nothing we can do to change that. So why spend your life trying? Live your life living. This is Pastor J with Pastor J Ministries, bringing to you a message, teaching us to number our days, the value each day possesses, to live it purposefully. I hope that today and every day that you and I walk this earth from this moment on, you and I will live this life with the purpose God has intended, and to carry out our life in the relationship that God has purposed. First with Him and then with each other. Learning how to love one another, support each other, to be there, to help when help is needed, to do what God has called us to do, so that when we stand before Him, we can stand with the confidence of knowing I lived my life well. I appreciate each and every one of you who have tuned in today, and I pray that this message really does strike something in your spirit. I trust that it awakens maybe an awareness in you that hasn't been there, maybe shifting for you a perspective that you have not had. And as a result, that you will now go and you will live. Not live trying to avoid the inevitable, but going out there to live the life God has meant for you and I to live. If you would like to support Pastor J Ministries, there are ways that you can do so. And I want to just thank you in advance for your consideration and your love. Because without you and without your support, without your generosity, there are things that we do that we cannot do. So we need you and we thank you. To those of you who also support by sharing these messages with those that you know, thank you again. And please take the moment to just click the share button and share it with those on your social media. That way they too can benefit and be encouraged and ministered to and blessed by the messages that we bring each Monday and Wednesday to you. And those of you who keep us covered in prayer, please continue to do so. Those prayers are more valuable than you will ever know. And we appreciate that covering that you give us. So on behalf of Pastor J Ministries, our team, to you, thank you. We love you. We so appreciate you. And we look forward to once again being a part of your life. In fact, we invite you to join us on Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our virtual Bible study, Coast to Coast, A Biblical Perspective. Again, that is Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have a Zoom link that we will provide for you on our Facebook page. And if you'd like to join us in the conversation, you just go to that link, and that link will then give you access to the actual discussion. But if you're unable to do that, or you're just not interested in being part of the discussion, but you are interested in hearing the discussion, we will always share these Bible studies on our Facebook page. So be on the lookout. If you can't join us at 7 p.m. for it, you can always go back to our Facebook page. All the things that we do, we always post for your convenience and for your viewership at a later time. So I hope that you will go check it out. I love each and every one of you. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening or next Monday for our First Talk Live. Have a wonderful and blessed week.